Leo, my friend, let me tell you something right away. This is not just another horoscope video. If you're here right now, it's because something inside of you is already shifting. Maybe you can't explain it, maybe you haven't put it into words yet, but something feels different. You're not imagining it. And you're definitely not here by accident. There's a reason why this video found its way to you right here, right now. Because at the beginning of this new month, something extraordinary is happening in your energetic field. It's quiet, subtle, almost like a whisper, but it's real. And if you let it, this moment might just be the beginning of the biggest shift you've had in years. This is about 2 goodbyes and 1 meeting that will change everything forever. And I don't say that lightly. You see, sometimes life doesn't send us thunder to wake us up. It sends silence. It sends a strange discomfort in places that once felt like home. And when that starts to happen, Leo, it's not because you're lost, it's because you're outgrowing something. Right now, in this exact season of your life, you're being asked to let go of roles, routines, even versions of yourself that once felt essential but now only weigh you down. And soon, someone or something is going to enter your life in a way that will feel like confirmation. Like a divine yes. Like the universe reaching back after all this time you've been holding on. I know letting go can feel messy, painful, confusing. But here's what I've learned, not just from astrology or tarot or energy work, but from living it. The moment you stop trying to hold together what no longer fits is the moment space is made for something real to come in. Something you've been praying for, whether you knew it or not. So, if you're already feeling a kind of emotional shakeup, or a strange mix of grief and relief, know this, it's not chaos. It's clarity trying to take form. That's what we're diving into in this video. A cosmic moment. A turning point. And if you stay with me, you're going to see why these 2 farewells, as painful or subtle as they may be, are not losses. They are sacred exits. And what comes next? That's not just a new connection. It's a soul-aligned meeting. A reminder of your worth. A mirror of your strength. Before we go deeper, I just want to pause and say this: thank you. Thank you for showing up here with an open heart, even if it's tired. Thank you for choosing to tune in, to listen, to grow. Every like, every comment, every person who subscribes to Eternal Mindfulness is not just supporting this channel, you're re-anchoring your own journey. You're showing the universe that you're not sleepwalking anymore. You're awake. You're ready. If something inside you resonates right now, even if it's just a flicker, take a moment and drop a comment below. Say, I'm ready for the shift. Because when you say it, you claim it. You plant the seed. And the energy starts to move. Stay with me, Leo. What we're about to uncover in the rest of this video. It's not just insight. It's a blueprint. A map back to the version of you that never needed to be fixed, just remembered. Leo, what you're feeling right now, that subtle sense of unease, that flicker of restlessness when everything on the outside seems just fine, is not a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that something is waking up. You've been holding space in your life, maybe even thriving in ways that others admire, but beneath the surface, your inner fire has been whispering. Not with panic, not with noise, just a steady, growing warmth pressing against the edges of what used to contain it. It's like being a flame locked in a golden cage. Beautiful, bright, but limited. You haven't lost your light, Leo. It's still burning. But the space that once felt like a sanctuary is starting to feel too tight, too predictable. The routines, roles, and responsibilities you've carried so long are no longer fueling you, they're reconfining you. This isn't burnout. It's not failure. It's the natural call of growth. Astrologically, the beginning of November brings a rare and meaningful trine between the Sun, your ruling planet, and Saturn. This is a cosmic conversation between your raw power and your structure. Between who you are and what's holding you. Trines don't force change, they invite it. They open a gentle doorway for you to reassess, realign, and restructure. And this is exactly what you're being asked to do, not destroy everything, but become deeply honest about what you've outgrown. Sometimes people think transformation means flipping your life upside down overnight. But for Leo, this shift is more like molten gold, slow moving, powerful, impossible to ignore once it starts flowing. You might find yourself questioning why certain things don't excite you the way they used to. Why certain people, places, or projects no longer feel like they belong in your world. That's not selfish. That's sacred noticing. And the truth is, you don't need to rush. You don't need to make drastic decisions today. But you do need to pay attention. Because the moment you acknowledge that inner nudge, the moment you say, yes, I feel it. Something is shifting, you open the door to something extraordinary. You begin to move out of the stillness not because you were stuck but because you were gathering. You've spent so long being strong for everyone else. Being the light, the leader, the dependable one. But now the light is turning inward. This is about being strong for you. About honoring your own evolution, even if it looks messy. Even if no one else understands why you're pulling away from the very things you used to chase. And here's where the healing deepens. We live in a world that often values performance over presence. Where being okay is expected, even when we're not. But growth doesn't always look like success. Sometimes it looks like stillness. Like no longer faking joy. Like telling the truth about what no longer fits. This part of your journey isn't about finding something new to prove yourself with. It's about letting your soul expand into places where it can finally breathe again. And that takes courage. Real courage. The kind that doesn't scream or demand applause. The kind that says, quietly and clearly, I'm ready for more than this. There's a verse I often return to in times like this, not because I'm religious, but because the wisdom is universal. Be still and know. In the stillness, Leo, something sacred begins. You don't need to force your next step. You only need to listen. Because the fire inside you, it's not dying. It's preparing to rise. If you felt that invisible pressure, that subtle inner knowing, this is your confirmation. You're not imagining it. And you're not alone. Drop a comment below if something in you has already started moving. Say, I'm feeling the shift. Let that be your first brave step out of the golden cage. And into something far more alive. Leo, if you're honest with yourself, you've probably carried more than your share. You've been the reliable one, the strong one, the center of gravity for people who never quite realized the weight they left on your shoulders. And for a while, that role made sense. It gave you something solid to stand on, a sense of purpose, maybe even pride. But lately, hasn't that armor been feeling heavier than usual? Maybe you've started waking up with a kind of quiet dread, not about a specific problem, but about having to keep playing a role you're no longer connected to. This is the first goodbye. Not to a person or a job or a relationship necessarily, but to the version of you who believed that being strong meant being silent. That strength meant always showing up, even when your heart was tired, even when your light was flickering. It's exhausting, isn't it? Wearing that emotional armor every day. Smiling because people need you to. Nodding when you're actually unsure. Putting yourself last because somewhere along the way, you convinced yourself that was noble. But Leo, real strength has nothing to prove. It doesn't come from being the loudest or the last to fall. It comes from choosing yourself even when no one else does. From recognizing that keeping peace outside while burning out inside is not the kind of loyalty your soul signed up for. There is power in walking away from the roles that no longer fit. There is liberation in laying down the expectations that you never agreed to carry in the first place. And then comes the second farewell, this one even deeper. It's the quiet but profound decision to let go of the belief that love has to be earned through endurance. That you are only lovable when you're useful, agreeable, or perfect. That belief may have started young, maybe from a family that praised performance over presence, or from a relationship where love always came with conditions. But whatever its source, it's not your truth anymore. You've outgrown it. And your spirit is gently asking you to release it. This part is tender. Because it's not just about letting go of an idea, it's about shedding an identity. It's about saying goodbye to the internal voice that told you had to be more, give more, do more just to be enough. And that goodbye can feel like a betrayal. But really, it's a return. A homecoming. A moment when you get to say, I am enough. As I am. Without the proving, without the pleasing, without the pretending. When we talk about personal growth in astrology, we often overlook this kind of release. But these goodbyes, these internal unhookings, are the most transformative shifts you will ever make. They don't look dramatic on the outside, but they recalibrate everything on the inside. And they set the stage for a new life to begin, not just in theory, but in lived experience. So if something inside you has been whispering, I can't keep doing this, don't ignore it. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. If your body has felt heavier, if your energy feels thin, if your joy feels borrowed, that's the signal. And you don't have to wait for crisis to choose yourself. You can simply choose now. You don't have to justify your need for rest, your desire for more, your instinct to walk away. You don't need a permission slip to outgrow your own past. You just need the willingness to let go, not to fall, but to rise. Take a breath, Leo. Put your hand over your heart. Feel it beating, not because you've earned it, but because you exist. That's the only proof you need. You are worthy. You always were. And these goodbyes? They are not endings. They are openings. There's a moment in every real transformation where the space left behind by what you've released starts to feel unsettling. Like standing in the echo of an emptied room. You've said goodbye. You've peeled off the layers, the expectations, the old versions of yourself. And now, there's space. Quiet. Open. Sacred. But make no mistake, this silence is not empty. It's preparation. Because something or someone is already making their way toward you. The cards that speak through this moment are deeply telling: the Lovers, Knight of Pentacles, and the Star. These aren't about fantasy or drama. They're about grounded, soul-level connection. The kind that doesn't knock loudly at the door, but rather slides into your life like it's always belonged there. These cards don't talk about being rescued. They talk about being seen. And that's the difference. What's coming toward you now isn't here to complete you. It's here to reflect you back to yourself. You may not recognize them at first. That's how real alignment works. It doesn't show up with fanfare or flashing signs. It arrives gently, sometimes disguised as something ordinary. A quiet message. A subtle invitation. A stranger whose energy feels strangely familiar. A friend whose presence lands differently this time. It's not always romantic, though it could be. More importantly, it's authentic. Unfiltered. Undeniable. Energetically, we attract at the frequency we emit. And since you've shifted, since you've released what no longer honors you, your vibration is naturally aligning with new kinds of people. New energy. New mirrors. The universe doesn't match what we want, it matches what we believe we are ready for. So if you've been doing the deep inner work, it's no surprise that this connection is starting to stir. You've made room. And now, the response is on its way. The Knight of Pentacles reminds us this won't be rushed. This isn't a high-speed collision. It's a steady approach. A slow, intentional unfolding. The Star tells us this is healing energy. Something or someone that brings a quiet kind of hope. Not the kind that makes you leap out of your seat, but the kind that helps you exhale. That lets your shoulders drop. That makes you feel like you've finally been met, not for your image, but for your essence. If you've ever felt like you've had to explain yourself too much, work too hard to be understood, or constantly prove your worth just to feel chosen, this will feel different. Because what's coming next doesn't require any of that. In fact, it's your very lack of effort that will confirm it's real. When something is soul-aligned, it clicks. It doesn't confuse. It calms. You recognize it not with your mind, but with your nervous system. With your breath. With your stillness. You're not here to chase this. You're here to recognize it when it arrives. And it's close. You'll know because something inside you will shift. Not a panic. Not a push. Just a quiet inner whisper that says, this is safe. This is true. So if your spirit has been sensing movement like an approaching presence that feels familiar in a way you can't explain, honor that. You're not making it up. You're tuning in. That's what happens when we clear space and stop forcing what's not ours to hold. If any part of this resonates, if any piece of your heart is saying, yes, I feel that something's coming, then take a moment and write it below. Say, I open my heart to the soul connection that's ready for me. There is power in speaking it. In claiming it. In anchoring that energy with your own hands. And trust, Leo, it's closer than you think. When the very thing you've prayed for starts to show up in your life, it doesn't always feel magical. Sometimes, it feels suspicious. Unfamiliar. Even uncomfortable. That's the paradox, isn't it? We long for love, for freedom, for peace, for a kind of wholeness we've never fully known, and yet when it finally arrives, our first instinct is to flinch, to question, to brace ourselves. Not because it isn't real, but because we've grown used to living without it. Leo, this part of the journey is delicate. You've said goodbye to the old. You've done the heavy lifting. And now, something new is approaching, something that looks a lot like what your heart once whispered for in the dark. But now comes the deeper work, the receiving. And that's not always easy. Because somewhere along the way, maybe you were taught that good things come with a price. That if it feels too right, it can't be trusted. That if it arrives gently, it must be a trick. That's not your fault. It's a protective instinct born out of experience. Disappointments have layers. Sometimes we hold on to pain because it's familiar, and push away ease because it feels too foreign. The nervous system remembers old wounds even when the conscious mind has tried to move on. And so when love shows up without a catch, when rest becomes possible, when something or someone simply accepts you, your first thought might not be joy. It might be, what's the catch? Here's where your awareness becomes your power. This is the moment to pause and ask yourself, gently and honestly, am I protecting myself, or am I rejecting the very thing I asked the universe for? One is wisdom. The other is fear wearing the mask of caution. This is where the law of attraction meets emotional healing. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you believe you are ready to receive. That's why this moment matters so much. The universe isn't withholding. It's responding to your vibration, your readiness, your openness. So if you're sensing resistance, that doesn't mean you're not worthy. It just means there's still some part of you trying to make sense of being fully loved, seen, supported without having to earn it. And here's a tool that helps: write it out. Sit down with your journal and finish this sentence. I'm afraid to receive because ... Don't censor it. Let it be raw. You might be surprised by what you uncover. That truth, no matter how messy, is a doorway. Not to fix yourself, but to free yourself. Then go one step deeper. Ask yourself, if this good thing is real. If it's actually here for me. What would it look like to say yes to it? Visualize it. Feel it. Let that version of you, the one who receives without guilt, become a little more real. This isn't about rushing. It's about choosing. Not from fear, but from trust. Not from habit, but from your higher knowing. Leo, your soul didn't come here to merely survive. You came to shine. You came to feel deeply, to create boldly, and yes, to receive beautifully. So if this season is asking you to stretch your capacity to let the good in, don't pull away. Lean in. Even just a little. If something in you is stirring right now, if this resonates even slightly, speak it. Comment below, I am ready to receive what I once asked for. Let that be your declaration, not just to this space, but to the universe itself. Let it know, you are ready. Not perfect. Just ready. And that's enough. After everything you've released, everything you've said goodbye to, there comes a silence. But this silence isn't empty, it's powerful. It's the kind of quiet that speaks louder than words ever could. You start to notice subtle changes. Conversations that once felt urgent now seem distant. People who used to take up so much space in your life slowly fade into the background, not with drama, but with grace. Places that once felt like home no longer match your frequency. There's no fight, no tension, just a soft, undeniable recognition that something in you has shifted, and the outer world is realigning to reflect that. This is the beginning of frequency transformation. And it's gentle, but very real. The truth is, we don't always notice transformation when it's happening, because it's not always loud. Often, it's the quiet moments, the way you no longer react to what used to trigger you, the ease with which you walk away from what once felt essential, that signal real evolution. You're not shrinking to fit anymore. You're no longer making yourself smaller so others can feel more comfortable. This isn't arrogance. It's alignment. Leo, you're not here to carry the world on your back. That's a story you were handed, not the one your soul chose. You're not the flame that must keep burning for everyone else. You are the light itself. And light doesn't need permission to shine. It just does. Whether it's seen or unseen, validated or ignored. Your frequency is shifting, not because you're doing more, but because you're being more. More honest. More present. More you. And yes, it can feel lonely at times. When your vibration rises, not everyone will rise with you. Some relationships will fade. Some circles will close. Some doors will not open again. But that's not rejection, it's redirection. The universe is removing what's not in alignment with your new frequency so that you can walk with less weight and more clarity. And when you begin to trust that, you stop seeing endings as losses. You start seeing them as sacred clearings. Now, energetically speaking, this moment in early November is charged with deep karmic significance. Astrologically, the Sun, your ruling planet, is forming a trine with Saturn between November 1st and 3rd. This isn't casual energy. It's a cosmic agreement. Saturn brings structure, long-term vision, and karmic accountability. The Sun brings identity, purpose, and vitality. Together, they create a sacred opportunity to choose your future with conscious intention. This is a window to make a decision that echoes far beyond this month. And the tarot reflects this same truth. Justice speaks of divine timing. A karmic rebalancing. If there's a choice you've been delaying, a truth you've been avoiding, this is your sign to face it with courage and integrity. Death reminds us not to fear the end. Endings are never without reason. This is not the time to hold on to what's crumbling. Let it go. Make space. Because Ace of Pentacles is here to offer something new. A seed. A beginning. Something you can build on, stable, rooted, abundant. From a numerology standpoint, the numbers 8 and 11 are especially potent right now. 8 represents empowerment, personal authority, financial flow. 11 is a master number, one of spiritual insight, awakening, and stepping into alignment with your higher calling. When these numbers show up together, they point to quantum growth. To saying yes to your future with boldness and faith. And if you're looking for subtle energetic support, tune into colors like gold, jade green, or soft violet this month. These tones carry frequencies that support heart expansion, personal worth, and grounded clarity. Whether you wear them, meditate with them, or bring them into your space, let them remind you of the light you're stepping into. So don't rush this phase. And don't underestimate it either. What you're feeling, this calm, this detachment, this clarity, is your frequency aligning with a new path. Stay in it. Trust it. Let it guide you forward. And if any part of you is whispering, "This feels right," then say it out loud. Comment below, "I trust the light I'm stepping into." That simple act of naming it can shift your field. Because when you declare alignment, the universe meets you halfway. Every time. Leo, if you've made it all the way here, I want you to pause for just one moment, not to analyze, not to explain, but simply to feel. Feel the space you've opened by choosing to listen, to reflect, to show up for yourself in this exact moment. Because that, right there, is where transformation begins. Not in some far-off future. Not after you've fixed yourself. But here. In this stillness. In your quiet willingness to grow beyond what you were told you had to be. You are not here to be rescued. You are not here to prove your worth through exhaustion or to earn love by shrinking your truth. You are here to come home to yourself. That's what this journey has been, guiding you toward your own permission to trust what you feel, to speak what you need, and to live in a way that actually honors who you are becoming. So let me ask you this. What would it look like if you stopped waiting for permission and simply stepped into your next chapter? What might happen if you believed that this season of shedding and shifting is not an end, but a sacred beginning? Could you release the weight of other people's expectations? Could you believe that your softness is strength? That your desires are not selfish but divine? If anything we explored today stirred something in you, hold on to it. Don't rush to figure it all out. Let it breathe. Let it settle. Let it begin to rewire the parts of you that once thought survival was the only goal. Because the truth is, Leo, you're not just surviving anymore. You're starting to live differently. Freer. Fuller. More awake. More aligned. And if you're wondering what to do with everything you've just taken in, start here. Make space. Create small rituals that anchor what you've remembered today. Write down the sentence that hit you hardest. Speak it out loud before bed. Carry it with you like a seed. You don't need to transform overnight. But you do need to trust the version of you that is emerging and let that version take up more space. Now, I want to thank you from the deepest place in my heart for spending this time with me. Your presence here matters. Your energy contributes to something much bigger than you know. Every time you like, share, comment, or subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness, you're not just supporting this channel, you're helping us co-create a space where spiritual growth, real healing, and authentic connection are possible. Thank you for being part of this journey. And if something inside you is whispering, "This message was for me," then I invite you to comment below. I allow myself to receive what I truly deserve. Let it be a declaration. Let it be your way of saying yes to what's ready to come in. So here's my final question to you, Leo. Are you willing to step into the life your soul has been asking for? Even if it means leaving behind everything that once felt familiar? Are you ready to let your light shine without apology, without delay? If so, you already know the next step. And I'll be right here, walking beside you, every word, every message, every reminder, until the day you don't need the reminder anymore. You just become the light.